Hey everyone, welcome to my mukbang. It's actually my first mukbang, I think. So I hope you enjoy. For today, I am having a kind of the sticky rice wrapped in lotus leaf. This is a Taiwanese version, and I've had like Cantonese and Vietnamese versions of these. But this one is a Taiwanese version. It's called a Bak Chang, and my mom wrapped this. I think what makes it different than the other ones I've had is like the rice and the filling. In the past, the ones I've had that's like Cantonese or Vietnamese, I mean, they were both different, but the rice was like light, and then the rice in this Taiwanese one is like brown or dark, and I think it has to deal with stir frying it first. I feel like the Taiwanese one is kind of like underrated and like not many people talk about it. So I wanted to shine some light on culture and share that with you all. So I just unwrapped it and I'm gonna slice it in half and show you how it looks inside. I swear it tastes better than it looks, but I think it looks pretty darn good. Inside we have pork belly, mushroom, salted egg, and scallop. Quick disclaimer, I'm not sure how much fun memory I have left on here, so we're just gonna eat, maybe chat a little bit, and go with the flow. Whenever this cut off, it's gonna cut off, but yeah, quick disclaimer there. So this is a pretty, I would say, heavy meal, or like this one Jung can get me pretty full, so I need to drink some LaCroix to digest, and today I have the black raspberry flavor. Not my favorite flavor, but it hits the spot. I feel pretty lucky to be eating this, especially homemade, because it takes a lot of labor to make this meal. And my mom growing up always made pretty intricate meals with like broth and soup that would take hours to make, but whenever I see her make this, it takes her like, I think 2 whole days almost, like soaking the leaves, preparing the rice, and then preparing the condiments. So I feel very lucky to be having this meal because of all the labor of love that took for her to make it. There's I think there's like a sweet version of these jongs that's Vietnamese with like banana. I'm not a big fan of sweet things, so I love this savory version. It just has all my favorite things. So I mentioned that I've had 3 different versions of this like lotus wrap sticky rice. And I like them all, but I feel like this has to be my favorite one. I think it's because the rice is like brown and kind of like stir fried with soy sauce and oyster sauce, and I really like eating salty food. But my second favorite one would be like the savory Vietnamese version that you can pan fry. I Google searched this, and apparently it's translated as like and Chinese tamale. I hate that term, so we're gonna call it sticky rice, or like sticky rice wrapped in lotus leaves. I'm sure no offense was taken, but I just don't like calling this a Chinese tamale. I don't really talk when I eat alone. I kind of just put on a TV show. So I really wonder how mukbangers do this, because I'm not quite used to taking a bite and talking to myself. I guess I can start off with a little catch up. And I like to see life as, you know, professional and then personal. So like professionally, I recently moved into a new role a couple months ago, and it's been going great, honestly. I do think that with work, it's always going to be work, so it's never 100% amazing. But overall, I've been really liking it, and I remember a few months back, I was really scared about starting this new job. I've also been meeting a lot of new people who are actually quite driven as well. And as I'm kind of catching up and sharing how I've been, I realize I've really shifted the past year. Like growing up, I've always been super ambitious and career driven. It's a long story why. But I think back to my current day-to-day, and I've learned to let go a lot more. And that doesn't mean that I'm not doing things on time. That doesn't mean that I'm not enjoying what I do. But I've also really learned to kind of enjoy it, but also not make it my whole identity. And it was kind of sad when I'm like talking to people and all I could talk about was work, and I don't think that work defines a person. So I think the past months, as I'm meeting new people, I'm hearing them talk about work so much, it reminded me of my old self, but it also showed me how I've kind of shifted as a person. But overall, it's been good. I really enjoy it, and I feel really lucky to be where I'm at. This is a very big mushroom. I used to hate mushrooms growing up, but I love them now that I'm older. I am someone that likes to take small bites of something than like one whole mouthful. Mostly because I feel like it's hard for me to swallow, and then I need to drink a ton of water if I take one big mouthful. And I don't really get to taste, like, I don't get to savor the taste, if that's a good way to put it. But what are you? Are you more of like a eats everything in one bite or small bites? So that's me professionally. Personally, I think a siren's coming around, so let's just wait for it to pass first. Personally, it has its highs and lows, I think, with everything. I am very thankful for the friends I have in my life. I feel like I was going through a ton of back-to-back highs. The past week, like, I was doing something back-to-back weekends, and I was kind of like socially drained at some point. But then I had like a much slower weekend, which was nice, but I also felt kind of off. I don't know, it's weird how to put this. Like, I was pretty drained from back to back, and I felt like I wasn't getting enough sleep. And then now that I had a very more low-key weekend, I also felt like it was out of the norm because the past weeks have been so go, go, go. But I think I'm going to enjoy the moments I have now, because I'm actually going to have a little reunion with Jin in the next 2 weeks. So that is going to be very eventful. And I'm also going to be with my team for an offsite for 3 days. And I have some hangouts planned too. Excuse me. So it'll be very eventful. So I'm going to tell myself to just embrace the time I do have to chill. I think adulting, and for someone who goes deep in their thoughts easily, it's interesting. I feel like when you have time like this to sit and reflect on life, you just think about everything. Like what's going well, but then at the same time, I also, when I overthink, I also start to feel a bit empty almost. I don't know how to describe it. But you know what? There are some things that you don't have to fully know how to define or describe. You just feel. Family-wise, so we talked about professional life. We talked about friends. Also on friends and relationships. This past month has been a lot of catching up with people I wasn't that close with, actually, historically. These were people I used to see just once a month, but I ended up seeing them almost like weekly to bi-weekly, which was a nice change, honestly. Like, I am thankful that I was able to deepen my relationships with these people. And I kind of gave up on bringing people together just because people didn't always have a good time in my past experiences. But this month I brought like a ton of people, not a ton, like 4 or 5 who didn't know each other together. And it was nice. Like, everyone got along, and that made me so happy, because like a week prior I brought a friend to another get together and it didn't go so well, so I was contemplating if I should continue doing these mix-ups, but it went really well. If you're watching this, how do you feel about, going to hangouts where you don't know anyone? Are you a fan of it? Are you not a fan? I know it can be kind of overwhelming, but it's also really nice when you do have a good time and you got to meet new people that you wouldn't have otherwise. Okay, the last bucket is family. And it's been going great. I feel like my family is something that, like, of everything that changes in my life, that's the one solid thing. I feel kind of bad I haven't really been hanging out with them that much this month. But when we do hang out, I just get reminded of how I really enjoy their company, and it's a different type of company. It's a different type of company and feeling that you get that isn't like the same that you would get from a friend. But yeah, I also feel like they've been really understanding with me this past month, which really means a lot, because I feel like growing up, not that I, truly had to ask for permission, because I know I own my own life, but I did ask for permission for a lot of things, and I don't know, I feel like the past month or so, they've been really understanding. On a random note, I've been watching this anime called Nana. And I saw it as a kid, and it was really good. But now that I'm rewatching it as an adult, it's actually quite applicable to like someone who's early in their 20s and like navigating life. It has a lot of themes. Some go kind of dark too. And it's been really nice watching it, honestly. Very relatable. So I recommend you all to watch it if you have time. Okay, I'm like almost done.